And we are live. Go Blue! Michigan Wolverines men's basketball team takes down Ohio State today, 84-61. What a win! They improved to 22-21 overall, 12-1 in the Big Ten, all by their lonesome on the top of the Big Ten standings. After Michigan State beat Illinois last night. Now Michigan is the number one team in the Big Ten, all by themselves. Another fantastic win. The shots weren't falling early, but it didn't matter because they played fantastic defense. They were aggressive. They got to the bucket to get 2-point shots in. Ade Mara was fantastic. He had a great game. They did what they had to do until the shots started to fall, and then the 3-point shots were falling like crazy, and then eventually their 2-point game got back caught up again. But overall, just a great game. They continue to just be confident, have swagger, play together, be aggressive, and play great defense, and they just wear teams out. And you can just see teams like near the end there, the double-digit lead had just been there so long. Ohio State just ran out of gas. They just didn't have the oomph to keep make another attempt at a run, and the point guard just kept getting pickpocketed. This team is something else, man. They are fun to watch. Let me shout out some people in the chat here. Ray, what's up, man? Can Michigan get any better? Go Blue, my friend. I agree. You also made a good point that the women's basketball team has a huge, and they are on Fox. I saw that you corrected that too. But they have a huge game right now. They are hosting UCLA, who's number 2 in the country. Michigan, of course, number 8. The women's basketball team's having a fantastic year. So make sure that you check them out. Right now, they're on right now. So watch that while you're hanging out with me or afterwards. Huge game for them. And early on, I haven't checked in a couple minutes, but it was back and forth, or just getting started. Huge game for them, but a huge game for the Michigan men's basketball team as well. And they were awesome. Gentile Luza is here. Go Blue. That's right. Thanks for being here, my friend. And we've got a lot of other people in here. If you want to, please leave a comment. Let me know where you're watching from. Let me know what you thought of the game or whatever you want to talk about. Side note for any subscribers, anybody that follows the channel, I usually have a video come out every morning. I did not have one this morning. Had a late night last night. Didn't get to finish editing it. I was going to try to put it out this afternoon, and then I thought, you know what? I'm doing a live chat after the basketball game. I'm not going to rush it. So that'll be out tomorrow morning. I'm going to take a look at the 3-star recruits in Michigan's football 2026 recruiting class. Have some recruiting updates, the usual. We'll talk about this game, all that kind of stuff. So look for that tomorrow morning. But for today, it'll just be this, plus the question of the day. Make sure that you go vote on that. So in a minute here, I'll look at the stats. But again, anybody that hops in here, thanks for being here. I appreciate it. And be sure to leave me a comment if you have any questions, any comments, anything that you want to throw out there about the game or football or anything else. All right, so let's take a look at these stats here. I'm going to pop it up next to me. If anything happens with my internet, let me know. For some reason, it's being a little salty this morning with me. But so far, so good, it looks like. All right, so let's see. Michigan, here we go. Field goal percentage. We did not shoot very well, which is insane. That's what I love about this team, is that they can shoot so... What? Hold on a second. What is this? Why is that? Look at over there on the left. Look at our game leaders. What the heck? Is this an old... Oh, this is an old Michigan game. What the heck? What a glitch from ESPN. It's showing a game from a long time ago when we were terrible. I was like, Doug McDaniel, what the... Like, we didn't shoot that bad. Okay, hold on. Gotta love when this happens live. All right, I'm going to stop sharing this. And I'm going to go back into ESPN and figure this out. Okay, that... I was like, wait. I'm like, that scored... I don't even think that's the right score. Hang on a second. It was 82-61, not 84-61. Okay, hold on. I'm finding it right now. That is hilarious. All right, this looks... I say Mara had 24. He should be the leading scorer. Yes, we didn't shoot as good as we do sometimes, but we shot way better than 20%. Okay, I found it. Hang on, let me share it here. And real quick, Ray, with the update, women's basketball's up 12-11 on number 2 UCLA. Ooh, can't wait to watch the rest of that game. And it's Super Bowl Sunday. Also, by the way, we got a little Michigan versus Ohio State flair in the Super Bowl. Mike McDonald, former Michigan defense coordinator, and his Seahawks taking on Mike Vrabel, former Ohio State player, and his Patriots. So I'm going Seahawks. I think they are just kind of like the Michigan teams that Mike McDonald was on. They just have a great running game. They're tough. They wear you down. They have really good defense. And I just don't think the Patriots have enough to overcome them. So let me know your predictions in the comments. If you think it's going to be Seahawks or if you think it'll be the Patriots, throw a prediction score in there. It'll be fun. So a lot of cool sports things going on today. All right, let me share the correct thing. That's so weird. I clicked on it the first time. And for some reason, when I went to share it, it also showed something from years ago, back in the dark days of Michigan basketball. All right, here we go. Share screen. I think that game was from the exact same day, so I think that's why it got so confused. I'm going to zoom this in a little bit so we don't have to worry about those ads over there. Okay. Now let's do this. Boom. There we go. Much, much better. Sorry about that. All right, so here we go. Field goal percentage. Michigan, like I said, they shot better than Ohio State. They shot really good from 3-point in the end, but from the floor they shot 46%. So not horrible, not horrific, but the shots weren't falling early on, and they had to lock in on defense because Ohio State was going to make it tough, and they were hitting some threes early on. But then that's you just kind of got to wait it out, and it did because their shooting did not keep up. And then ours started to take off, and our defense stayed solid the whole game. So in the end, we shot 46 to their 36. 3-point, we shot 42 to their 32. Free throw percentage was good, 6 of 7. And they had over twice as many free throws as us, so they definitely can't complain about the referees. Let's see. Rebounding, we out-rebounded them on both sides of the ball. That's always a huge thing with this team. If we can do that, we're usually in good shape. Assists, we had a lot of assists again, sharing the ball, playing well together. Had a few blocks, couple steals. Cut the turnovers down again, under 10. It's fantastic to see. We had 20 points off their turnovers. Fast break points, we had 10. They had 0. So we did not give them much opportunity to run and gun. Points in the paint, we doubled them up. Another huge stat with the bigs we have. If they win the rebound game and the points in the paint game, we have a shot. And if our shots are falling and we're playing high intensity defense, we are tough to beat. Fouls, we had more. Largest lead was 23, and we led 98% of the game. Fantastic. Let's take a look at the box score here. All right. We had, let me make sure nobody dropped a comment for me real quick. Okay. All right. Box score here. We had, Yaxel had 14 points and 14 rebounds. Pretty sweet. He had a great game. Moritz Johnson, 11 and 12, just solid all the time. Like he's rarely is he the one you're going to see on the image after the game or as the leading scorer, but he gets in the teens and points and rebounds every game. It's wild. He is so solid. Let's see. Ademaro, though, he was the man tonight. 24 points, 2 of 3 from 3-point. He had not hit a 3-pointer going into this game. Now he made 2. He's been working hard on it, and if that's a part of his game, he is. And if he continues to get more aggressive, he's going to be a handful. 6 rebounds he had, 3 assists, 2 blocks. Just what a beast! An amazing game, and such a good dude. I've watched him in interviews and some other things, and that's the other thing. Like these players on this team, they love playing together because they've all got a little swag. They've all got that fire. They're all really good, but they also are just good dudes, and they get along really well together. Cadeau, he only had 2 points, but he had 6 assists and 0 turnovers. And at the end of the day, as a point guard, that's what we want. We want someone who's not going to turn the ball over, and he did fantastic once again. Burnett, kind of, if you look at the stats here, it looks like, after that 31-point game, he didn't do much. But he did. He kind of sunk back into his role as the game went on. as someone who just plays hard, plays good defense. But early on, when our shots weren't falling, he had a huge bucket that he went to the rim and got 2 points, and then he hit a 3-pointer. So early on, he kind of kept helped us keep pace with Ohio State until everything settled in, and Mara and the rest of them really started taking off. So the little things that you don't always see if you just look at the box score. He had a good game. Cheddar had only 3 points, but that was a big three. So that was a huge play early on. Kaysen looked great off the bench. He started to look more solid again off the bench. And Trey McKinney, Gale had a rough game. I think he always presses a little bit when they play Ohio State, but he also has just kind of fallen a little bit out of the rotation. I mean, he's still getting his minutes, but it'd be nice eventually to see him go off in a game because he's had a rough stretch of point wise anyway. But he's always brings so much energy. But in Ohio State games, I feel like because he used to play there, he always presses a little bit. So he was 0 for 6. He was, he brought a lot of, he played good defense. We will say that, but he did not score much. But Trey McKinney, man, he's getting more and more minutes. He is going to be something special. He already is. Probably, I mean, I think he's the second leading scorer off the bench in the country. He's going to be something. I'm excited to watch him grow into a starter and what he can do, the next couple of years. But I'm excited about him this year. Dude is lethal. 12 points, 4 of 6 from field goal percentage, 2 of 3 for 3-pointers. He always makes his free throws. He always does a little bit of everything. Assist, block. Oh wait, he didn't have a block. That was Gale, but he had an assist. He gets rebounds. Like just a good player. Ohio State, they had a rough time. They started off kind of hot, making some threes, but after that, once their threes stopped falling, they didn't really have an answer. I think Devin Royal, number 21, he had 15, and Thornton, number 2, he's always solid. He's tough. He had 16, but other than that, they didn't really have anybody do much. So not too shabby, guys. I'm going to leave this on the team stats page. We'll kind of just leave it right there. So yeah, fantastic game. We'll look at the schedule in a little bit, but man, this team, I tell you, they are a lot of fun to watch. And I feel like ever since that Wisconsin loss, it took them a couple games where they still won by double digits, but they were getting back on track. And then they've just slowly gotten better and better and better again. And now they're just clicking on all cylinders. And I think that loss, that close, almost losing to Penn State, and then the loss to Wisconsin, and then having to grind out some games and win, I think that really helped them because now they seem more confident. If their shots aren't falling, they don't get rattled. It's like, all right, we're just going to play good defense, and it's gonna turn around. We're going to keep taking shots. We're going to play together. We're going to have fun, and we're going to win this game still. And you can just see it when they play, and you can feel it as a fan. It's like after the Penn State game and then the Wisconsin game for sure, you kind of felt like, oh gosh, the shots aren't falling. Are we going to get upset again? But then as time went on, now you're getting to feel like we got this. They're going to be fine. It's fine. I like no stress. And they just grind it out and they pull away and they win by 20 points, and like in this Ohio State game, early on, it was, back and forth a little, but you just felt good about it. And eventually it did exactly what it should do. They're more talented. And if they play really good defense the whole game, the shots will start falling and they will pull away. So they are going to be fun. We're going to have a fun run to end this year. Let's take a look at the schedule real quick. I'm going to pull it up, make sure I find a good one. Sometimes, just like that weird glitch that we had earlier, sometimes the schedule is a little off sometimes if I don't click on the right one. Okay. So let me make it look a little better. Let's make sure this is correct. I don't want to show you the wrong one again. Yeah, this is good. Okay. So we're going to stop sharing this. Okay, I think it pulled up. Okay, so as you can see, we'll zoom in a little bit more. So we just played Ohio State. So Next up on Wednesday night, Michigan plays at Northwestern. They should be able to win that one. Then they've got a kind of a good challenging stretch here. They got to play next weekend. They host UCLA, who's at the top of the middle of the pack. They're not up there with like Illinois, Michigan State, and Nebraska, and Purdue, but they're just right below there. So that's going to be a good, hard fought game. That's going to be a good test for Michigan. And then after that, we go to Purdue. That's a tough one. On the road, playing at Purdue is always hard. And Purdue's had a couple of head scratcher losses, but they are a really good team, really well coached by Painter as always. So that's gonna be a one to watch. That if Michigan's got maybe 3, maybe 4 games left that they could trip up in, that's definitely one of them. And then after that, another tough one the following weekend in a little mini tournament special event type thing. They play at, well, not, I guess technically we're the away team, but it's at a neutral site. They play Duke. So that one's going to be tough. Duke did just lose to North Carolina, though, so it proves that they are not unbeatable. So that's going to be a good one for Michigan, playing at Duke. Then they should be able to beat Minnesota at home. And then another tough one, they have to go to Champaign and play Illinois. Illinois is tough, but they just got beat by Michigan State, who Michigan handled pretty easily. So again, Michigan can beat all of these teams, but if you want to circle some games that are going to be like the ones where they could trip up if they don't do what they should do, I would say Purdue, Illinois, and then or Purdue, Duke, Illinois, and then of course they play Iowa, and then they close up with Michigan State, and that's another one. But it's home, and we already proved we can beat them. So I'm not as worried about the Michigan State game, although you never know. State, the rivalry, you never know in that game. So those are the games that I would circle as like they should be able to beat Northwestern. UCLA will be a good challenge, but they should be able to beat them. But at Purdue, Duke in that classic game, at Illinois, and home versus Michigan State. Those are the games that they are going to have to show us that they can continue to consistently win, and I think they will. I think they're gearing up for the tournament. I think they're in great form right now, and they're focused, and you can just tell they've been playing defense for the entire game, which is huge. Let me see. I'm going to go back to look at the standings real quick. We are on the top, of course, but let's see if I can find one that has updated after their game. Yep, here we go. Let me zoom in a little bit before I share my screen. But I'll show you kind of where everybody sits that we're getting ready to play. Okay, make sure it came up. Yep. All right, so there you can see Michigan's on the top, 12-1 overall, 22-1 overall, 12-1 in the Big Ten. Illinois is now 11-2 in the Big Ten after they lost to Michigan State. And then I think Nebraska lost because I think they're 10-3 along with Michigan State. So I don't think that's updated yet, but Purdue right here, 9-3, and like I said, UCLA is right there. They've really been playing really solid basketball in the Big Ten. They've won a couple in a row, but they had some trouble in the non-conference. But so far, they're looking pretty good. So that's going to be a good challenge. I said that's not one to circle because I think they'll take care of it, but they are similar record to Wisconsin, who beat us. So, but I think Michigan's a different team. I think they've learned. I think they've grown in especially in games where they're going to be challenged. That the Penn State and Wisconsin game, they were coming off those 50-point victories, including some over top 10 teams. And I think that they just got hit in the mouth and they didn't know what to do when their shots weren't falling and the other team was. But they've learned now how to grind out wins. They know what to do if that's happening. They ratchet up the defense and they start going with whatever's working. If it's 3-pointers, they do that. If it's 2-pointers, they do that. If it's getting to the bucket and getting fouls, they do that. Like they've just learned how to adjust better and stay confident and not lose their cool. And so I think that they are going to be fine against UCLA. They do play Iowa. Iowa's a sneaky one. I mean, they're 17-5, 7-4 in the Big Ten. So that one is, those games can be scary, but I think we'll take care of business with them. And then, of course, the Minnesota game, they should be able to beat Minnesota and Northwestern. They're kind of at the bottom here. Well, Minnesota upset Michigan State. So anything can happen, but if Michigan plays their game, those games should be easy wins. but those other ones will be tough. All right, I'm gonna go back and just share this, and we'll leave it there. All right, so yeah, it's a fantastic win again. They did awesome. They they started off not making their shots. Ohio State was, but Michigan didn't falter. They just kept at it, and their defense was amazing as always. And they rotated well. They were aggressive when they needed to be. They got to the hoop when they needed to. But then it's like they're just so good at looking for each other too. There was a play, even their big guys. There was a play where Mara was under the basket, and in years past, Michigan big men, they would just have put that up. Probably got it even earlier in the year. Mara got it stolen sometimes under the basket, but you can just watch him. He was looking everywhere. He was seeing if he had a clear path to the basket, but he was also looking at his teammates, and he ended up finding Cheddar, or was it Yaxel? I can't remember if that one was one where Lindenborg got. No, it was Yaxel, or I mean, it was Cheddar. He found Cheddar wide open, drain a three, huge play, and they just do that all the time. They look for each other. If it's there, they're going to take it, but they'll also look for each other all the time. They're always moving without the ball. Just a really well coached team who likes to play together. Jeff Andrus is here. What's up? Go Blue! It was an awesome win. So yeah, I mean, I don't know what else to say. They were fantastic. I could not be more proud of this team, how they came up. I mean, swept Ohio State again, which is awesome. You didn't hear a lot of chatter before the game this year from them or from their reserve guard like you did before the last game. So they went into Columbus and took care of business, and that's what we wanted. I mean, it was a pretty comfortable game early on, a little back and forth, but you just feel different with this team. Like I said, they've learned how to win when things aren't going their way, and you just felt like Ohio State's not going to keep shooting the three like this. They're going to go cold, and then we're going to take off, and that's exactly what happened. And winning by 20 and a comfortable win, and now we're alone atop the Big Ten. So they'll enjoy this one for a few days, and then they got Northwestern, which should be an easy win, but no wins are easy in the Big Ten, of course. But Northwestern has a losing record for a reason. Michigan should be able to dominate them, and looking pretty good going into that tough stretch. Like I said, UCLA will be tough. They're a tough team, but I think Michigan can handle them. And then back to back, you got Purdue and Duke. So those are going to be great challenges for this team. I cannot wait to see them rise to the occasion. Just like we had that week with Nebraska and Michigan State, now they have another tough week like that with UCLA, Purdue, and Duke. But for sure, Purdue and Duke in that same week. It's going to be great to see what they can do. And I can't wait. I cannot wait. It's going to be awesome. Let's see. I'm trying to think if there's anything else from the game. Frustration wise, I'm not frustrated with them at all. They all played great. I was a little frustrated at the end of the first half. I'm confused, and this goes with NBA and college, and across the board in sports. We've talked before about how referees, umpiring, officiating is just not consistent. But what exactly warrants a goaltend nowadays? That's what I want to know. That basket before the half, it went up to the backboard, and then Ohio State hit it, and it wasn't a goaltend. I don't know. I mean, it didn't end up mattering at the end. Plus, they were up by 10 at that point. But it's like, how is that not a goaltend? How is that not an easy goaltend? I don't know. I feel like goaltending is getting to be one of those things that, and that probably, if that's in the middle of the game and not right before the half where players are already leaving the court, the refs probably look at that again, and they probably change it to a goaltend. But in the end, it didn't matter. But I don't know. I get worried about officiating. They really, I don't know. There's got to be some way to make it more consistent. And I mean, both ways. I mean, there were some plays that I saw Michigan get, or calls that I saw Michigan get, where you're like, and then somewhere you see Ohio State get away with, and it's just, I don't know. It's wild. But in the end, it didn't matter. Michigan played awesome. And Yeah, I'm really excited. Yeah, they absolutely missed it. I agree. That was rough. I mean, it was pretty obvious. I When I saw it live, I thought it was, and then they showed the replay, and I'm like, "Good lord, how'd you not?" And then that play, Mara had a great play where he got a layup and he scored. But then as he's coming down, the Ohio State guy comes in and clobbers him on the back of the head, and he like whiplashes from it, like, and then there's a ref right there with his whistle in his mouth watching it and never blows his whistle. Like, I mean, you can't let stuff like that go. I mean, I'm okay with letting some back and forth swatting and body stuff going because you can't call a whistle every second. But when a dude gets clobbered in the back of the head and you let it go, either way, even if that had been an Ohio State player, you got to call those, or that player's going to do it again because they got away with it. Like, I don't know. That's a slippery slope going down the officiating hole. We're gonna not dive into that, but still, there's just some things where it's like, man, whew. But overall, I love Ade Mara's play, man. And like I said, I've seen him in some interviews, and I saw him on. I think one of the coolest things I saw was there's a guy that does some Michigan stuff on. I don't know if it's Instagram. I think it's on Instagram, maybe TikTok. I'm not sure, but and one day he was walking around campus and he ended up seeing Ade Mara at like a bus stop, and he ends up asking him if he can take a picture with him and interview him for his social media content. And he's like, "Yeah, I'm just super nice guy." He had no reason to. He could have just been like, "No." But he totally did. And then the bus comes and he gets on, and it's just funny because the guy doing it was really short, and he's like, "Man, you're really tall. How tall are you?" And he just chuckled, and just a really nice, personal person, you know. And yes, that was for a social media content, so some would say he was being nice because of that, but he didn't know he had the camera at first when they were first talking, so he was nice before he even knew it was going to be recorded or anything. But anyway, just a really nice guy. And I feel like his only thing holding him back earlier in the year and probably at UCLA was that he is so nice. I feel like he didn't have enough of that aggressive kind of killer mentality. He's got the size, he's got the talent. Um, he's really intelligent, great passer. Um, but I feel like as the years gone on, you see him getting that more and more. He's toughening up. He's getting more aggressive, and if he can keep going in that direction, but keep that humble, good side of him too, man, this kid's going to be something special. Not just at Michigan, but in the NBA too. And now you see he's been working his butt off on his 3-pointers, and he drills 2 of them with beautiful form today. If this dude, you've got a big man who's huge, who can block shots, play great defense. Um, he can rebound. He can, but now he starts to be able to make long distance shots as well, and he can pass the way he can. Woo! He's gonna be good, and he's already good. So exciting stuff. And of course, Yaxel looked great again. I'm starting to feel better and better about whatever that injury was earlier in the year. He's looking more like himself. More like the explosive player that came from UAB and that we saw earlier in the year. He's looking great. And like I said, McKinney, man, Trey McKinney is a player that I'm so excited about. He's really hitting his stride at the perfect time for us. And what a weapon to have someone who's really starter caliber at any team in the country coming off the bench like that. Woo, awesome stuff. I mean, you can go up and down this lineup, and just these guys all know their roles and the part they play so well, and they do it so well, and they want to do it so well because, like I said, they just love this team. They love playing together. They believe in each other. They believe in Dusty May. He believes in them. Like there was that part where Lindenborg picked up his 3rd foul, and Rudy Gale got up to go in for him, and you could see Lindenborg look to the sidelines, and you could just tell that Dusty May and him kind of met eyes, and May's like, "All right, I'm going to trust you to stay in and not pick up anything else." And it's just cool, that communication, that trust that they have, and that's the kind of stuff that wins you a national championship. Not just talent, not just luck, but trusting each other on the court and trusting your coaches too, and the other way around. Those are the teams that you see go on runs, the teams that have fun together, play for each other, and trust each other. And Michigan's got that. Plus, they have a lot of talent. That's why I'm so excited about this team and what they're going to be able to do this year. I think it's going to be special, and I'm excited that I'll get to be here to go through it with you guys. It's going to be so fun, and I can't wait. So they are off again, like I said, until Wednesday. They play at Northwestern, so they'll have a little break until then. So, yeah, I think we'll wrap it up here. Thanks again for hanging out with me. Again, Super Bowl is tonight, so have fun, enjoy watching that. But right now, when you get off here, go watch the women's basketball team. They are playing UCLA. They're hosting them at the Chrysler Center. Michigan's number 8, UCLA is number 2. Huge game in women's college basketball, plus in the Big Ten. So go check that out. That's what I'm going to do right now. But I hope you guys have a fantastic day. I hope you had a wonderful weekend. Enjoy the rest of it. Look for a video from me again. Like I said, tomorrow morning, I'll talk about 3-star recruits from Michigan's 2026 recruiting class. We got some 3-star studs, some 3-star duds. We'll talk about it and a lot more. Also, make sure you vote on today's question of the day. It's hanging out in my community tab poll. In my community tab, there's a poll. Go vote on it. But I will see you guys in the next video. And until I do, as always, go blue. Michigan again wins. It defeats Ohio State 82-61, sweeps the season series. Michigan moves to 22-1, 12-1 in the Big Ten, all alone atop the Big Ten after Illinois lost to Michigan State. Fantastic game. Michigan will be back in action Wednesday night at Northwestern. I'll see you then, but I'll see you before then in my next video that comes out. Have a great day, everybody. Go blue. And as we go out, as always, we got to do a little, it's great to be a Michigan Wolverine. It's great